Hello there, welcome to Winged Horse Designs. This morning I'm going to show you this card using the marbling technique for this background. So I hope you'll enjoy this uploaded video, and if you do like what you see, please like, comment, and share. I'm going to switch the cameras and go ahead and get started. There we go. Getting ahead of myself with my clicks here. So here's a better view of it. This background piece here is done with an old technique called marbling. And all you need for this is some marbles, a container with a lid, and some re-inkers. So I started out, Monday I shared this little piece at the end and said, we're going to do something with this. I wasn't really, I don't know, the colors just didn't speak to me. So I tried a different set of colors. And I came up with these. And this is Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, and Fresh Freesia. And I was like, that still doesn't appeal to me. So then I started with Mint Macaron and Sweet Sorbet. And I immediately thought of Christmas. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for Christmas yet. We just finished that. And so then I switched to this, which is Mint Macaron, Polished Pink, and Highland Heather. I thought that those were some nice, pretty colors to put together. The stamp set I chose to use is Sending Smiles because it has this really fun sending, but it has it in a die cut. So you have this die cut that you can do with the shadow die cut behind it. So I just thought that would be fun, and I thought it would be nice to say Sending Birthday Wishes. It comes with the coordinating dies. We're going to use this single stem, this little flower here, the center that goes with it, and then the dies. So it's just a fun one, the Sending Dies, and it is a bundle in the annual catalog, so a stamp set and bundle that we haven't used in quite a while. But I thought it would be fun to pull that back out because I felt it just went nicely with our marble background. The measurements are in the description, but you'll need a card base. Mine is Highland Heather that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored in the middle at 4.25 inches. I'm going to give that a good crease with my bone folder and then set it aside. You'll need a piece of basic white or any other neutral that measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches for the inside. Set that aside. You'll need a piece for your background. Mine, you can use whatever you want. You can make it the full size of the card. Mine measures 2 inches by 5.25 inches. And then you'll need some black that will cut a bit large enough to cut out the background shadow for the word Sending, or whatever dies that you're using. I've already embossed this piece, but this one's been embossed with Birthday Wishes. I have already stamped and embossed the flower for the front, or stamped and die cut, excuse me. And then I've cut the word Sending. I left it attached because I want to show you a little trick. The I on your Sending can easily get lost, so I want to show you how to make sure that that stays put. But first, let's do the fun. Let's do our marbling. So you'll need a container, any size container that will hold your cardstock, with a lid that locks, and some marbles, 3 or 4 marbles. I picked 3. You're going to take your re-inker and drop a few drops in your container. You don't even have to move them around like that. I just do. And then you're going to roll these marbles around. So it's going to get loud, but you want to roll these around so that they get ink all over the marbles. And it looks to me like my marbles are well inked up. And you're going to take your cardstock with a piece of removable double-sided tape, and you're going to tape it inside the lid. You're going to put it on your container, close it, flip it upside down, and roll them around again. This is a great technique or great fun you could have with young children. If you have grandchildren or young children at home, they love this. Depending on how much ink you want on it, depends on how you roll it around. So there's color number 1. You'll take this off your lid, and then you'll take your container to the sink and you'll clean the marbles and the container before moving on to the next color. For the sake of the video, I just emptied out all my pencil boxes so that we could just move straight on ahead. You'll pick your next color. I'm going to do Highland Heather next, but you can do any color you want. Roll marbles around to pick up that ink. Tape your cardstock to the lid. Put your lid on, lock it down tight, flip it upside down, and roll some more marbles around. So we're starting to get more background here. Again, if you're doing this at home, you're going to pause the video, you're going to go clean your container and move on to another color. So now we'll take the other one, and I chose to use 3 colors. So my last color is polished pink, a nice bright pink. I thought these colors were minus the yellow, it's kind of Easter colors. I'm going to get those well inked up with my polished pink. Tape my cardstock to the lid and do this the third and final time. Now I'm going to roll these around quite a bit because I want a lot of pink on mine. So if you have kids, like I said, they would love this. I'm going to flip it up so it's not on the cardstock because the more you rattle it, the more noise it makes. And then they get to see their fun creations when they're done. Actually, let me get this out and put the lid on before I put it away. And now you have a fun background. So just a really fun background. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside, and then we'll put this card together. So for the inside, I just put a flower in. I didn't put any kind of a birthday greeting per se in it. I just simply stamped the same flower we're going to do on the outside. So I'm starting with mint macaron for my stem and leaves. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to bring in polished pink for my flower. And these photopolymer stamps, you can see exactly where you're going. I do recommend that you use the foam mat underneath it. I have a desk protector kind of thing that and gives me just enough of that foam that I don't need to use the foam mat. And then I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the center of my flower. So I'm going to close all these up. And we can start putting this card together. Sometimes I'd like to not have any kind of sentiment on the inside, or just the sentiment on the inside and not on the outside. That way you can do a little bit more personalization based on whoever you're sending your card to. So for the front, I'm just going to take this base and glue it straight down. onto the bottom of my card front. And I'm going to glue my stem of my flower. Now remember, if you can see the glue, it's enough, and you may not be able to see it here on screen. So I'm just going to add a flower. And for this flower, I'm going to use a dimensional. And I'm just going to pop it up on my stem. Let's talk about this sending. So we have our shadow, and we have our word. And when I take this out, and it is helpful if you put an adhesive sheet behind, it just makes these smaller pieces easier to work with than to try and sit there and put glue on the back of this. You will want to run it through several times instead of just once in order to get through not only the cardstock but the adhesive in the background. And then we just need to peel off that background, that backing off of our adhesive sheet. Sometimes the adhesive sheet has some seams in it that you end up on the back of whatever you're putting it on, but that's okay. Now you notice it's stretched really easily. That's why I recommend using the adhesive sheets. So we're going to apply our word sending on our background. And this just is so much easier than trying to use glue. And then we can adjust our little end that got stretched out. And you're like, well, what happened to the eye, or to the dot to the eye? It's still stuck in here. And I like it. So all I need to do is gently get that. That's not what I wanted. I don't want the whole thing to come out, but it did. Because it falls, it gets lost easily. And if you can get that backing off while the eye, your cardstock piece stays inside the die, that makes this much easier. And that had been my intention, was to show it to you that way. Let's see if I can get it back in the die. It's such a small piece that it goes basically everywhere but where you don't want it. And I want it to stay. I want to stay inside the die, but I want to be able to get that adhesive backing off. And usually it does that for me, but of course I'm on camera, so it doesn't want to cooperate. So when it's being uncooperative, there's another cool technique you can use. You come and you find a really tiny, that one's not quite tiny enough. Let me get another sheet. You find a really tiny gem of some sort, and you use it to make your eye. So let's go ahead and glue this piece down. And then I'm going to attach birthday wishes with some dimensionals. I'm going to use the side pieces here. I'm going to pop this underneath the sending and just right at the top edge of the marble background. And then all we need to finish this card is some pretty rhinestones. I'm going to put one in the middle of the flower, which kind of covers up that daffodil, but it just makes it pretty. We've already used one up there on our eye, so we'll just put a couple more. And I like the rule of thirds, so there's our 3, but I think it needs a little more here. So what we'll do is we'll just put 5 on this card instead of 3. We've still worked with our rule of thirds from photography. And again, just use a rhinestone when that little piece is being uncooperative. So there's a fun card, fast and easy, by using marbles to create a fun background with marbles, a container, and your re-inkers. I hope you enjoyed this uploaded video this Friday. On Monday, a sneak peek of what's coming up on my live during Monday is we're going to do Joseph's coat. So I think you'll really like that. Again, if you enjoy what you see, please do like, comment, and share. And I will see you Monday live here at 10 a.m. Central Time. Thank you so much.